I have pulled up the Excel version of the men's progress tracker. There is the women's also. There's just a tiny little difference. I want you to go through this with me. If you really enjoy using Excel, this is a great tool. If you prefer like handwritten, the same stuff is in your playbook. So this first page that we're on here is just a chance for you to record those weekly averages after you have recorded the week so that you can kind of see your big overview, that momentum check of, week to week, what are we actually seeing? So you'll be able to, in week 2, plan out your estimated target calorie range. We want to make this a range because we want to make sure that we're looking at averages, not perfect days. So then you can see what your weekly average is, average week or protein, daily average protein. If you're recording weight, we record the lowest weight of the week, especially if you record or are weighing more than once a week. Then maybe the number of strength workouts that you've done, average daily steps, and then other wins. And then also, if you are taking time to record progress, you can mark and record whether or not you've done that. So that's in our first sheet here. Then on that second sheet, I have an example for what this looks like for your weekly recording. So we have our days of the week over here on the side. We have the total calories. So if you're recording that, we are looking at the averages over the week. So it records those averages. You can enter in your weekly targets. So those are the ones that you calculate for yourself. You can also put in what you have daily protein wise, and then you can have your weekly target. Our steps, this can be, I have an Apple Watch. There's a lot of different ways that you can estimate steps. Hydration, the way that you estimate this depends on you. I have a 32-ounce water bottle. I know exactly how much I have to fill it up to hit 32 ounces. So it's really easy for me to estimate whether I've gotten that minimum 64 ounces or, that 90 to 100 ounces. You can mark whether you've had a workout. How you estimate for yourself that sleep and stress check-in is kind of up to you. You can use this to mark, did I hit 7 to 8 hours of sleep during the day? You can uncheck it if it was really stressful. This is kind of up to you how you want to use it. You can set that up however you like. Other progress. So maybe this, in my example, I didn't feel so tired this morning at work, or on a Saturday, I had just 3 drinks with friends instead of my typical 6 drinks. And then you can add some optional workout details. So in here, in my example, I had a full body, upper body, lower, and then upper. And then you have your lowest weekly weight if you're recording that, something that you're proud of, and then something that you can do better. So this is what an example week might look like if you're able to fill everything in. So that is the example page. I have these split into phases, or you can think of these as splitting them into months. So I have phase 1 here. We can scroll down for week 2, week 3, week 4. Then we go into the second phase, week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And, phase 3, phase 4, and beyond. The only other thing that I have in here is just some examples of what goals you might have. You are going to be recording these, but you can have a few example goals for each of these phases if you're curious to plan out where you want to put your focus. The only other thing that's different in the women's is that we do have a marker here for whether or not you're on your period, because that can be an indicator as to whether or not it's impacting your weight. You're holding on to water, or you might notice consistent changes right before or during that phase. So if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to answer any of those, but this is a really robust way of tracking because it goes beyond just food logging. It helps you see an entire picture. And the goal is not to do this forever. It's to start to understand where your averages are and what you can impact to move the needle. Because maybe you have, 3 or 4 strength workouts a week, but your daily steps are in the 2000s. And so we want to add, 2 or 3,000 onto that and keep adding on to that. Maybe your hydration is terrible and it's actually causing you to feel much more uh, well, your satiety is poor and you want to snack a lot more when your hydration is really poor. So these are just ways for us to look at the whole picture, not just what's on the plate, but what's going on in your life. And hopefully just tracking this for, a few weeks, maybe a month or two, can really help open your eyes and help you see where you can make those really big and impactful changes.